So the first thing we want to do on our form is we're going to give it a title, and I'm just going to call it a test form because I'm going to keep it really simple just to show you what all the fields do. Otherwise I'm going to get wrapped up in having to create something which has meaning. The title, I can add a description. We are testing the form structure. And I'm going to get back to adding pictures and themes later. We're going to actually just, see, this is going to actually just fill up the form. I corrected the spelling, right mouse click on the red line to pull up the menu options. And just so you know, there's lots of options in there to help you edit this correctly. On the new button, and the first time you do this, Microsoft should give you lots of options, suggestions of questions and fields you can put in there. Use those. You can select them. And hopefully I'll get that option up in a minute, but I've used this so often that at a certain point they forget and just don't show you anymore. I have a whole lot of options here to add to my form. I can add a choice box, a text box, a rating, a date. I can do a ranking list, a Likert, a file upload, a net promoter score, and sections. I'm going to go explain all of them to you. We're going to start with a choice box. The choice box is something that you add a question and then a person gets to have a choice of answers. A choice question. And we're going to keep it simple with a option yes, no, and if you can see, I can add an extra option, maybe. I did that with the plus. I can also add an option, other, to my form, and this will mean that the person gets to fill in that with their text. This is the basis of this question. It's that simple. I can add a picture to the line if I wanted to fill it up, make it more pretty. I'm just going to leave it for now. I can suggest that the user or the person who's filling in the form can give multiple answers, or that this field is required. To add a new question, I go to add a new question. I'm going to add a second option box, choice question, with option 1 and 2. And sometimes you don't want to have them filling in the circles. It could be that you wanted them to choose something out of a drop list. We can create that as well. At the bottom here is a more button. And here I can say, oh, I want to create a drop list. So I'm going to do that. And again, I'll have to create the options. And when I go to show you the preview, I'll show you the difference. So here I have the circles that you can select, and here it's going to be a drop list for the questions. And I can again add more if I want to. I can keep going up and down. Let's add a third one, again a choice. And here I'm going to do A, B. I'm just going through this with a tab, enter. I'm just tabbing it, C, tab, enter, D. And instead of the circles that I've had before, I'm going to actually go through the more option. And I saw here as well that I have a shuffle option, so that every time someone fills in the form, they're in a different order, so that people aren't seeing the same layout. I'm going to do that one. So we've added all three options now. We've got 3 questions in there. We've got our first one, which is a choice with just standard. A second one is, as you can see here, it's going to be a question with a drop box. And the third question, the answers are going to shuffle. We'll see how that works. I'm going to add another question. Now I've been moved around and my question box is up there. We'll sort that out later. I'm going to add a text box. A text box is a general text field that I could put in. And something you would use here is for example, your email address. So I'd say email, and your answer would then be an email. I can't specify that Forms has to check for the format, so I just have to assume it's going to be right. That's just a limitation on that. I can make it a long answer. Say if I wanted someone to add a block of text, I could say it would have to be a long answer. That means they can put more text in there. Again, is it required or not? And here, I could add some restrictions on this field. Now, gets tricky because the restrictions are very limited to what you can do. Number greater than equals to, between. So those are the restrictions with regard to a number that you could put in there. I haven't seen a use for that yet, but if you know one, let me know. I'd like to know. Let's get rid of this restriction. And to do that, I'm going to turn it off here. Turn that off. Go back to the more and just turn off the tick there. So I have a choice, I have a text field. What else do we have? Oh, I can put in a rating. Please rate this form. And someone can give me a number of stars and I can choose the level on it. There's 10 levels possible, or I could choose to have numbers. I'm going to leave them at stars and levels. So a choice box, a text box, we can do a rating. What else do we have? A date field. Please select a date. Again, I've got a spelling mistake, right mouse click. Let's change that up. And here the person can add in a date. So you can see it's really simple to do. I'm just adding them all in. Let's add a new one. Under the arrow, we have a ranking. A ranking is different to what we've seen before. Here we've had choices that you could do, or select one. And a ranking is we're going to get the options in a list, and I get to rearrange the ranking. Please rank these colors. And I'm going to just add some colors in here. Blue. Again, I'm just tabbing through, enter, green, and that's what I'm going to put in. Is it required, yes or no? Let's have a look what's under the more. There's nothing here. Subtitles and branching, I'm going to show you later. So, what have we done? A choice box, a text, a rating, a date. What else? A like it. This is a grid. Something you'd most probably see in a marketing research question with options like rank the statement, rank that statement. This is the like it. Statement 1, statement 2. I'm just going to leave it. I'm going to show you how it works in a minute. Is it required or not? Let's have a look. Nothing else in options there, just a subtitle and branching. As we move on, we've done the like it. A file upload. I'm going to show you what it is. This is an option where someone can add a file. The only restriction on it is you have to work within the same Microsoft Office subscription, or what they call a tenant. So anything after your email at the sign at your email address. So if you were to send this form out to someone outside your organization, it won't send because they'll say, well, you can't add files. It's to do with security. So I'm going to click on this again. I click on that OK button and it shows up here as a question. So you can add a question here and then allow someone to upload a file. I'm going to delete this because I want to share this form outside the organization. So I'm not going to do that. Get rid of it. Let's have a look. What else have we got? We've got a Net Promoter Score. Net Promoter Score is a rating again. So their question is, how likely are you to recommend us to a friend or colleague? And when we get scores in, we'll be able to see it in a dial. I'm going to leave the dial as it is. Again, we can choose if it's required or not. And the other options available to me are subtitle or branching. So those are my questions on my form. Let's have a look what our form looks like. We go to the preview button, and you can do this at any point during a building of your form. it's initially on a computer layout, and this is my form. These are my questions. Remember, I could do the select one, and if I do other, I can put in, this is my answer. There we are. The second question was a drop-down list. That's that list there. Here we can put in our email address. This is my ranking. A date picker. Let's pick a date. Rank the colors. And as you can see, the minute I click on it, I can move it down and they get numbers. Move that down, which is just wrong because blue is the best color. This is the Likert. I can choose one option in the list. Do you see that? So that would be a way to create combinations in a grid. My third question, it's moved all the way down. Remember that I created it was at the top, and it was an A, B, C, D. See how it's changed that? Every time we open this form, the order will be different because that's what we asked forms to do. And this is the, I'm going to just, the net rating. Let me go back and just fill everything in because I don't think I did that. Just email. There we are. The date, I ranked that, put the Likert in, I've got that. Okay, let's submit this form. The nice thing about it is I can see immediately what happens. So I go thank you, and my form is submitted. Let's go back. Under my responses, I can immediately see my response to my form. I'm going to get back to those later. So we've added the form fields. Now let's manage these fields because as you can see, the order isn't actually what I want it to be, and I want to move some questions up and down. So this question here, our third question, moved all the way down, and I can use the buttons here to move the question up, and as you can see, it goes all the way up. I want it in the third place. I could choose to move it down. I can delete the question. Done it wrong, delete it. Don't mess around with it if it's causing you stress and frustration. And if you put something in with a basic layout, just copy it. I'm going to be my fourth question. And I'm going to call these E, F, G. Throw that one away. Let's make it a multiple answer. So we've got our form layout. We can move the questions up and down and delete what we don't need. And that's the basis of adding forms of fields to your form. Let's see what else we can do with our form.